Hello, Nigeria, and good day, Africa, and for all the creatives who will be watching, especially from Jos Plateau State. Homsuk is my name. I am from the Kwanpan local government area of Jos Plateau State. I am currently the Peace and Unity Ambassador from Plateau State for the strongest state in Nigeria, and I am also the first African Movie Academy Award winner for the role that I played in Amstel Malta's box office from Plateau State in the year 2008. And it is my pleasure being here.
Viewers, my name is Achor Yusuf. I am a Nigerian. I'm from Kogi State, Igalash speaking. I have lived in Jos from 1996. Even though I did move out at some point, moved to Lagos, spent like 10 years in Lagos before returning back here. So, I grew up in Lagos before even coming to Jos. But Jos has been home for me. I am a filmmaker. I teach film. I produce. I direct. Yeah, award-wise, I've won 3 awards in movies. In 2003, I got 2 gold awards at the National Film Festival. Guinness Gold Prize for the best short film of a director, and then Elf Gold Prize for the best film. 2022, thereabouts, at the Real Time Film Festival, my film also won the best the best short film by a Nollywood director.
Nice.
So I've been around. I've directed quite a couple of some shows that is popular on TV. Notably, Desperate Housewives Africa in 2014. I directed the auditions for, what was it called again? This music show that was in 2013. Idols.
The Idols, okay.
Yeah, 2013. I've done stuff produced for BBC Media Action.
Okay.
Yeah. I teach, like I said, I run my own film academy. The business component of filmmaking is something that we haven't really paid attention to around here. We know we have the Film Institute in Jos, the National Film Institute, the Nigerian Film Corporation is here. Yeah. You have the NTA College in Jos. These are all training institutes, but film is a business.
Exactly.
Now, when you go into these institutions, what most people take out for this institution is the business side. Is the art side.
It's the art side, yeah.
The craft. The business side is not really emphasized. And also given the fact that business is not even something a lot of us around this part of the world understand. So that is why Plateau State or Jos is not attractive enough, because we have not really galvanized the creative industries on the plateau, right, into an ecosystem whereby people who are interested, who want to make investments, can look and say, okay, there is a place where we can go to. If you ask me, I think comparatively, Plateau State has that advantage over all other states in Nigeria in terms of the scenery, the weather condition. Plateau State has all of that. Even the the cultural diversity. It places Plateau on a level where, look, this is the best place to make films. And this is what those who really were behind the situation of the Nigerian Film Corporation on the plateau. This was what they had in mind, because Plateau had the same kind of topography or weather conditions with California, Hollywood.
True.
And from research, I think there was a time it was said that California is the 6th largest economy
Oh, really?
Yeah. 6th largest economy in the world. Now, what exactly? Of course, they have things like software and all those side to it, but entertainment is also key.
Very
So imagine what can happen from this state if the creative industries are galvanized
organized as one.
into a creative economy. It would require a lot of thinking, because in other climes, what you find out is that the creative industry is sustained by other industries, right?
Yes, true.
So what I mean is not like sustained. There's a symbiotic relationship between those in need of image making,
Exactly.
right?
Then that's when you're talking about companies
Yes,
and all of that,
and all of that
institutions. Yeah.
coming together. So that's what we need to do on the plateau for us to have to attract foreign investments. Because if you want to make a movie that will cut across internationally, you must be business savvy.
Exactly. And well, you have said most of it. I think Plateau State has actually been cocooned from the onset, just for the training of individuals, that would, because as we've seen over the years, over 10, more than 10, 20 years, where, those who have graduated from either the NFI or the NTA college have been moved directly to industry states like Lagos and Port Harcourt, to actually start off some of these cable networks that we enjoy their contents and all of that. And I think why I said cocoon is because the tradition of having to just sustain Plateau State as a training ground for some of this, lucrative businesses outside Jos has been the norm and all of that. Yes, we do have the industry and support group, especially from the Nigerian Film Corporation and all of that. But most of their business has actually been with either Abuja, Lagos, or Port Harcourt and all of that. Okay, I love what you have said about, galvanizing all the unities, to make it work and all of that. For me, I just look at one major thing. I think that Plateau State has actually been cocooned over a long period of time into believing that the state should only be about training creatives towards, sustaining other industry states like Lagos and Port Harcourt and all of that. For over more than 20 years, we have actually seen the movement of top-notch creatives from the NFI, most especially, who have actually started, cable network activity in Lagos and for DSTV, Sound City, and all of that. Most of them, I think 30, 40, probably maybe even 50% of those who are working behind the scenes, graphic works, content creations, the editings for cable network companies have actually been from Jos Plateau State, either from the NTA college or graduates of the NFI and all of that. And you see, because we have been cocooned into believing that this is a training ground, the art of business for film has actually left us and all of that. We do have an industry and support group at the Nigerian Film Corporation, but most of them have actually, in fact, most of their activities has actually been sidelined to what Lagos is asking for, what Port Harcourt and Abuja is demanding of them and all of that. But quite recently, I've actually seen there has been this mentality towards coming back to Plateau State because of its topography, its scenery. You've mentioned that and all of that, and with that, I believe it's going to change the perception of the utility of business. Business in the sense that the creatives themselves, who are also actors, crew people, and all of that, will now start enjoying the benefits of some of these productions that are moving down for the enjoyment of, our topography as it is. So we do need, I think for me, this is just one basic factor. We need to come out of that mentality of just being an institution meant for training and all of that. If we're able to do that, then I think we'll be able to rise above doing, especially for those who are resident within and nearby Jos and all of that.
But what can we do in this regard? Exactly, how do we make that movement from just being a breeding ground for creatives to a place where um, a state where the return on investment for even investing in creatives will not just be about investing in creatives who are drained, like brain drained to other parts of the states and other parts of the world. How do we see to it that, yes, these things stay around here so that it benefits the state?
Okay, I think that journey towards stardom in Lagos is actually not everybody's forte, right? And not until I think about 10 or probably maybe lesser than that, 10 or lesser years ago, most people have actually, gone around the industry and deemed it fit that Plateau State was still like the best environment to sustain your creativity. So most creatives would actually go out, outsource the jobs from Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, come back up in here. If it's for script writing, you still have an environment where you could be able to think tank and get all of that. If it is an environment where you'd be able to get available actors, available crew people, and still get, the right sort of environment to be able to portray what you want film wise, Plateau State has started getting that sort of drive and that sort of attention. So, all we just need to do is to be able to, as you said, have that galvanized state, have a structure through which we could be able to operate upon and all of that. And I'm happy that even the government quite recently have started creating departments, that are calling for that, because we are not just calling for it because they need it, but calling for it because we have an overflowing and a teeming whirlpool of people who are currently existing, living and thriving on the plateau who want that. So, so with that, I think that's the starting point.
To add to what you've said, right? Like what some of us have started doing recently, we're calling ourselves together. People within the creative industry. We've seen the need to set up a cooperative, like a consortium of cooperatives. Association is good, but there's something else to being in a cooperative, right?
True.
We growing up I didn't grow up in the village, but we were not disconnected. My parents will always take us home for maybe holidays. So I saw certain things that were done from where I come from, where men will gather and go to one man's farm, right?
Okay.
And will cultivate the farm,
Nice.
right? Before they move to another man's farm. Now that's like a cooperative system. That's what we need. What I see happening on the plateau is that probably because of what we've gone through as a people, people are suffering from, permit me to say, from post-traumatic stress disorder. Most creative people are actually creative because they are undergoing what I will call self-therapy. And when you are carrying out self-therapy, you keep a journal. For me, most times when I'm journaling, that's when ideas jump at me. Some of my best works have come out of the need to understand certain things, to understand myself, to find myself. Now, why I have drifted in this direction is to say that most creative people are isolated people.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Business cannot thrive in isolation. So if you are given to, being that creative person who likes to work in isolation, right? You need something. The business component will demand that you belong to a family.
Exactly.
And because we need that kind of setup, right? If you don't have a family, a cooperative where you can function, right? You will create, but what you create never gets to be exhibited.
True.
So you can't go global. right? Because even within your locality, you are an orphan. So we have a lot of creative orphans. So what we need is to create an orphanage for creatives. And that's what the idea of the cooperative is. Even in dealing with government, whoever wants to deal with, people would rather deal with a cooperative, deal with groups, right? Where you can be, where people are accountable to. But if we keep operating, in disparate, like in separated, no unity. That's what we mean by this galvanization, where we galvanize the creative industries. We bring them together and then form an ecosystem that is sustainable. That will better our lives as creatives. And then it will impact on the return on investment for the state. So the state in itself also needs to sort of put like a seed capital in this direction. It's very, very important. The state needs to have, its image put out there globally. And who are the people to do this? The creatives on the plateau, right? The return on investment is not just in terms of money alone, right? Security is massive. Let me tell you, when people are gainfully employed, right, it helps with security. You get? So there's just a whole lot. I think that if we get it right with the creative industries, right, a whole lot of things will go right for the state. It will impact even tourism, hospitality business, all of that, agriculture. People, because of what people see of the state, right, from the productions, from the works, right, that is put out there, you will have investment. It becomes like a place where people want to come invest. So it becomes a tourist destination, investment destinations for people who want to diversify their portfolio. They have a lot of money, but they are looking for places to put this money in. So that's what we need to do on the plateau to organize ourselves. Before we can get out there.
Very true. I'll have to support you on this one as well, because emerging countries have actually laundered their image through film. America, India, emerging cities have, there's no better way to have to launder your image than through movie making activities. And the Plateau State really needs to rise above some of these things, especially security, as you've rightly said. We need to be able to launder our image. There's a whole lot that Plateau State can get to derive from filmmaking activity. Hospitality can rise, culture and tourism, just like looking at South Africa and even what is happening in Sun City and all of that. We have more natural. Sun City is artificially made. And everybody wants to go to South Africa and go into Sun City. Meanwhile, we've got most of these natural tourism reserves. It's just creating hamlets around there, and then everything is boosting from culture to agriculture, as you've rightly said. One thing that I'm happy about is about the creation during Caleb Mutwan's tenure, just at the beginning of his tenure, is the creation of the creative, segment in his government. Ezra Jinang has actually been appointed as the PA to the governor on creative industries and all of that. And I believe it's the beginning for creatives like us to be able to come together to create a support system for that office. It's a big, he's not just a PA on that. We could actually endorse him as our DG on that issue. Policies will be made around how, we could be able to source finances, how independent, homegrown, grassroots producers and directors could be able to, hone their skills and make, the Plateau dream or put Plateau State on the world map through filmmaking would actually jumpstart. Talking about platforms and that creatives on the plateau can actually utilize, there have been in existence a couple of associations and guilds like the Directors Guild, the Producers Guild, the Actors Guild, and not until recently we've also had the Nollywood Artists Association of Nigeria cross into these boundaries. These have been industry support groups that have actually been thriving on the plateau. But as again, we have rightly said, there haven't been business angles that these guilds or associations have applied to make, the activities of filmmaking go well. Just being able to see the rise of, or seen greenhorns rise into becoming good acts. We've seen good producers from the Producers Guild produce good producers, but who might not actually even be producing for Plateau State, but producing out of Plateau State. We've had good directors on the plateau who have done, I would like to say who have done, they've done a lot of jobs, but not jobs that are out there. It's more like they're test running themselves. You made mention of, doing things, you go into yourself and there are things that you want to see. It's more like you're trying yourself to see. So we have more of people who are trying to see whether they are excelling in that field of endeavor. And these associations and guilds have been the platform that have been thriving over a period of time and all of that. That's aside having the institutions who have been doing something good about it. So, the institutions actually, these guilds and associations can actually be part and parcel of what we've talked about. They can actually be support groups to this new creative department that the governor has made. And then from there, let's build upon it. From there, we can get our new directors, our new producers. We already have a whirlpool of creatives, those who would want to be crew persons or even actors. We have actors. We do have good actors on the plateau. So we have a support system that can actually thrive only if we have that push from the government to say, okay, let's make things work.
The idea of a platform where creatives can come together to work, to sort of put their resources together to work is what is lacking. And yes, we have these guilds, but what we find from my experience being on the plateau is that we all operate in isolation.
Sure.
And the funny thing is, you see, in other climes, right, film as a medium is considered as is seen as an omnibus vehicle for conveying over 156 trades.
True.
Over 156 trades can come together to make a movie. But you can have as many as over 156 trades. Now, if we come together and, we galvanize ourselves in such a way that you have musicians having their own cooperative.
Yeah.
You have actors. Of course, there's the Actors Guild. Nothing stops the actors from having a cooperative, right? You have cinematographers, you have directors, you have architects, you have people in bloggers, costuming.
Yeah.
The creative industry is a spectrum. It's wide. But we need to come together and have a consortium of cooperatives that we pick up on a project that all these trades can come together, right? Such that we all benefit from. That to me is what is lacking, and that's why we are not able to put out something that is local but will go global. Right? The framework is lacking, and it's lack of leadership, right? And like I said, most people, the business people, come in like poachers. Most of them don't live on the plateau.
Exactly.
True. Right? So they come, they take, they go. But if stakeholders on the plateau, in concert with the government, can set up a system such that the ecosystem, the creative industry, the ecosystem is in place, becomes self-sustainable, right? In the long run, even those people in Lagos or wherever you call it will come over to Plateau because you have the space, you have everything. You know the impact. See, for me, there's just a whole lot that Plateau can benefit from. A fast rail from Jos to Abuja. Imagine lobbying. Even if it's not lobbying the federal government, but imagine if there's some sort of partnership that will bring about a fast rail from Abuja to Jos. You know what that will mean, especially when you have a thriving creative industry ecosystem. It means that people, expatriates, all the people, the diplomatic corps in Abuja, every Friday, what they're looking out for is, I am coming to just come and chill.
Exactly. True.
The weather is good for them, right? They can play around. They can go see things.
Yes, true.
Right.
True.
The what it generates in terms of internal revenue or what that brings to the state is massive. So, to me, I think that the state can actually live without federal subvention. They call it.
Of course.
If
True.
The creative industry and it's good. I like what our governor, His Excellency Caleb Mutfwang is doing, showing that look, he is interested in this particular sector of the economy. Look, a whole lot can happen when we zero in, and I am sure that most people want to come to Plateau State. I know a lot of people, when we work in Lagos, people always say, just. But what is lacking is the business side that is not there.
Exactly.
And so we need to really invest in the business component.
No, but honestly, actually, there have been certain individuals, one out of many, who have been able to, outsource their potential and actually put Plateau State on the world map with their jobs. You're one, right? We've had Achor is one. We have the likes of Kenneth Dian. We have there are a whole lot of people who are doing stuff. I did an experimental job as well that went into the Hollywood Weekly Film Festival. That was 2 years ago, and it was strictly based on the relevance of the plateau during the time of the rise and fall of the Kwara River, right? And all of that. You're doing stuff, you're operating from Jos and all of that. You get, so anyone who wants to seek his potential, ask him, where is he? He's in Jos. You can come over to Jos, have a meeting. The climate might just change your perception about, investing on the plateau and all of that. So yes, I think for Plateau State to rise above its present fame limitation and all of that, if there's a galvanization of all of these unities, of all of these people, using your job, using Kenneth Gyan's job, a couple of people who have been able to take their jobs out there to come in, use their jobs as yardsticks as to how we could be able to propel Plateau State into achieving. I think that is going to go a long way. You're working on other stuff for the future. Plateau State is going to be embedded in it. Some of us are still trying to utilize our connections to make sure that even some of our jobs have sustainability.
Okay, so what I would say to anyone out there who is, interested with a creative, working in isolation, who has not been given that platform, for the world to see what he or she can deliver, is that you need to position yourself well to be seen. And positioning oneself comes through being vulnerable. The thing is, most people who are in isolation are actually tense. They are not vulnerable.
True, they're tense. Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
And when you're not vulnerable, it means that you can't learn from your failures. You can't learn from, your experiences. When you fail, you find it difficult. You lack the capacity to recognize, right, what didn't work.
Exactly.
So you keep repeating the same. It's like you're in a loop.
Exactly.
But for someone who is vulnerable, right, meaning that you are really open to failing.
There's exposure.
You have some inbuilt capacity to mine from your failures. So you better yourself.
Exactly.
So I'm saying that because the creative impetus is such that you have to be attentive to your environment. You have to pay attention to people. You have to be a listener. You have to be able to read the trends around you, right? Let me borrow a leaf from, there's the story of when Jesus performed his first miracle, right? What did he do? He didn't say, go give it to Mr. Chairman. No, he said, take it to the MC. Right? Why the MC? The master of ceremony is actually the person who is like the media.
Exactly.
You get it? So you have to position yourself where those who can broadcast, those who can speak about what you have, right? Will be the one to really put you out there, bring you under the spotlight. And then you must be ready because it's show business. It's a business. So if you're not open to doing business, it's not show art, right?
Very true. Very true.
And you will make mistakes as you go, but learn, like I said. People want to take advantage of you, but learn from it.
Exactly.
Right? If you don't want to fail, if you don't want to make mistakes, you will never make any headway in this industry. So for me, I would say whoever is interested in being part of the creative industry and you consider yourself a nobody for now, please fail quickly.
Fail quickly.
Yeah, that will help you.
Very true, very true. And then, especially for Plateau State, we are very, very peculiar when it comes to our creatives and all of that. Most of them think that, what they see from their counterparts in Lagos and Port Harcourt and the South, I should say, they just make money that quickly, and all of that. We're very, very peculiar. And we don't know that for you to be able to make the money, you need to do the time.
Yeah.
There's endurance, there's time. You need to see the fruits of your labor year. But up in here, you spend 3 months with a creative and they think that, okay, you're actually taking advantage of them and they move on to do 5 other things in a spare of 2 years and they still come back to the same position and there's no, you're not doing anything. So, but a couple of, you talked about broadcast. Mr. Achor talked about broadcasting. And that's where most of, you see the likes of Mr. Laugh, Dr. Laugh, Brother Shaggy, and some of these big, comedians who have eventually cashed out just from Facebook posts, talk less of Instagram, talk less of YouTube. And they have merged or moved over to become actors who are showcasing in Netflix movies and cinema-rated movies and all of that. Is because they did their homework. Now there are a couple of broadcast platforms that have begun to rear their faces from the year 2020 up until now. Most of them have YouTube clientele ranging to over 30 something K and all of that, and they're monetized. What we should be able to do is let's find out who. The Jos events, can actually give you a number of people. There's Miramax TV, who has over 110 subscriptions from all of their from all of their social media platforms. He's doing a whole lot, and he's here in Jos. We have Tonak TV. We have even the Just Business School who have been introducing individuals to say, if you want to find out how you can make money, personalize your business into how you could be able to financially make it viable for yourself. But you see, our creatives don't want to learn. Their cups are full. They just look at what their counterparts are doing on YouTube and think that they can just mirror effect what they have done by themselves. Right? You need to learn it from someone who's been there, or probably maybe just even leverage over what these people have.
Yeah.
If I have a YouTube page of over 100 subscribers, what are you going to do? You're going to have to come up and meet with me and let's talk. What's your genre of art? Is it comedy? Is it action skits? Is it whatever it is? Okay, fine. This is what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to create a page for you under my YouTube page and then work with you for 3 months. And in those 3 months, it means you're going to be working with me 4 times a week, 8 hours of those days. It means you're going to churn out enough content that is going to be monetized to the point where people can't do without your content. But most of us here on the plateau, we can't do that, especially with Jos Creatives. We don't have that endurance level to want to visit. Now, don't forget that this person who's also putting your content on air is paying for camera, paying for time, there's location, and a little bit of welfare for you. How much are you putting as a creative into this? And if you're not putting one kobo or one naira of your money into it, all you can give is you need to be diligent, you need to be disciplined, and you need to be able to be loyal to that platform that is giving you that. But you see, that's what the Lagosians have over us. They have that time, they have that discipline for it, and they're cashing out and all of that. So I believe if you really want to know about some of these platforms who are rising in Jos right now, just reach out to this platform, to the Jos events. They know these people one on one. Now, I'm not talking about people who are just churning out information on a daily. No, you need to look for people whose real and true subscriber base can serve you, and they're doing it up in here. So for me, I think that's how we can actually do that. Number one, most actors especially have gone into short skits and they're doing it on their own. And they're rising, just 300 subscriber base, no watch hours. And it's the watch hours that actually give you that financial scale. So you need to leverage on someone first before you diversify on your own. So we'll be willing, we're all here to say, okay, at every now and then you can carve out how your major, genre should be and how you can leverage on it.